let's start out with like how many people out here kind of are well aware of generative AI? Like, at least use it. Show of hands. Okay. How many of them consider themselves as experts in that field? Okay, two, three people. Okay, that's still good. So I know whom not to answer questions of. So okay, fine, fair enough. So we'll start out with basically going ahead with a new kind of a framework for generative AI. This is the first time these slides will be presented anywhere. So it's a novel approach that we have developed, and we're still kind of building it. So that's what we are going to introduce. But before doing that, we'll go through basics, ups and downs, pros, etc. of generative AI. I think the crowd is a little bit quiet here. I like it to be very, very interactive. So please hold me, ask questions, whether it is part of the slide, not part of the slide. I also host like a YouTube channel. The link is out there, so you're welcome to check it out. So I have a wide variety of like politics, culture, religion, economics, computer science, AI, everything we discuss. So before further ado, let's get started. So generative AI is primarily started around, I would say, like really came into the limelight around 2 years back, like around 2022-ish kind of thing. So a lot of work was already happening in NLP domain, and when GTP came about, a lot of people started having a lot of interest in that, right? And when OpenAI kind of launched ChatGPT, that's when it basically started coming into the hands of everyday users. How many people here have at least used ChatGPT once? Pretty much, I would say 100% of the users have used, right? So let me ask, like, once you used ChatGPT, how many of you thought it was like very transformative, like it was magical experience? How many believe it is a magical experience? Roughly like maybe 30% of the crowd. Okay. So let me ask from someone who doesn't feel magical, why do you think it was not magical? Anyone can answer this question? Yeah, go ahead.
It was pretty determined. It was pretty just kind of, it was just an upgraded version of a Google search. It wasn't really too deep. It couldn't reason things beyond like, it was very much, it very much gave the opinion, the impression that you were dealing with a Chinese room situation.
Right. So thank you very much. So basically, just to paraphrase what he just said, is that when you interact with ChatGPT, it couldn't reason. It almost felt like that you're just talking to like a kind of a bot, but it had a lot of flowery language. So a person who talks very verbose, like tries to tell each and everything and things along those lines. So that was one drawback. What are the other drawbacks that you encountered when you were interacting with ChatGPT? Anyone else? Anyone else? Go ahead.
It's really bad for making code that's longer than one file. Like if you're trying to create like a multi-file project, it just slowly goes to pot,
Right.
and it's not even possible to like maintain a individual state with GPT-4. You can kind of do it with some other models. Google.
Okay, so that's a great point. So basically, what he just said, my friend just said, because I don't know the name just
Hawk,
yet.
yeah.
So I'll just use the word friend because there will be so many of them here. And I'm very bad with memory of like names of the people, but I do remember the people, just that my association of names is not that great. So friend is a safer word for me. So as he just pointed out, that when you are interacting with ChatGPT, what you basically find out is that if you ask it to like prompt it to tell, okay, build me a code that can do e-commerce transactions, and while it does e-commerce transaction, it should target the right set of users. And if you make the query extremely complicated, meaning a code that is required more than one page, most likely your code will not result into the right code, and hence it's not as magical as you would seem. So when initially it came around, like late 2022 is the first time when I basically used it myself. It seemed magical to me. Oh my God, like we can do this from this, like it's so easy. So it did seem magical, but the more I started using it, the more I tried to play with around it, I started finding out there were a lot of like rough edges, a lot of things that it was not doing correctly and things like that. That's when this idea popped in my mind, right? Like if we have, so there is definitely some promise in it. There's definitely some promise in GTP model. So I'll give you some examples. A lot of people have used to basically create new forms of music. So if you search on YouTube and write AI music or something like that, you'll see so many examples of AI music. And one of the use cases that I have seen and I personally liked myself as well, of course, the original artist wouldn't have liked it so much. I liked it as a user, like as a connoisseur, right? So if you like certain artists who are no longer there, who are no longer like alive, and they had some famous songs, you can train your model based upon their songs and like how they sing, so that you know like what their vocal variety is, how they sing, etc. And whatever your latest pop song is, you can say, okay, sing in this person's voice. So the same your favorite artist who died several years ago is now singing your favorite song in their tone and their variety. And sometimes some of those outputs are extremely good, and you'll see so many of them in YouTube right now. That's one example, right? So you can transpose, bring a person to life who is no longer there through the generative AI. Similar way, I have seen that this can also be used to plagiarize. So nowadays, I've seen a lot of deep fakes have started coming up. So you can have like a video of a person, and you can put like Donald Trump on it, or maybe Joe Biden on it, and make them speak something which they have never spoken, and you cannot make a difference that whether it is spoken by them. I'm seeing right now a lot of such kind of videos for Elon Musk, like he talks about woke crowd and things like that, which I know are like fake videos, but that's what is happening, right? And they seem too realistic. So those are the cons of generative AI, and like people are able to do it super easily. So even in the past, like even 10 years back or 15 years back, also we used to have deep fakes. But to be able to, the barrier for entry was too high. So you have to build very sophisticated systems, train the system for a very long period of time before you can come out with a quality that people will not discount it as saying that, oh no, this is like fake. I know it. With generative AI, what has happened is that tools have become so simple that you can basically generate those kind of things in a matter of few minutes, actually, not even too much time. So the barrier to entry has basically substantially reduced. So let's get back, now that we have some background of like what I'm going to talk about it. I'll try to address some of the concerns that my friend just shared here right now, like non-deterministic, not able to reason, not able to process very complicated tasks, and especially not able to generate code. How many of the people here are from software development field? Show of hands. Almost like I would say 30-40% people. And anybody else who is considered themselves as data scientists or something like that? To the people, product managers. Okay. Business sales people. Okay, good. Uh, Let me also have a few questions before I start, so that I can tailor my presentation according to like what the audience really would like to listen, right? Why did you show up today here? Like, what was the one reason that you show up here? Like, you could have signed up to multiple presentations that were going on. What do you expect to gain out of this presentation so that I can make it successful? Yeah, go ahead.
A sustainable framework for building an agent that's outside of Google Gemini's context window, which I've been basically abusing, and I wanted to explore tactics outside that. Yeah, I said it.
Got it. Got it. Anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
I've already built one, so I want to see what yours is like.
Okay, good. Competition. I like the competition. Go ahead.
I've been building rather complicated GPTs on the OpenAI platform.
Right.